welcome to the next project. Today is blunder repair day. As part of a video I was going to add to the headstock video, but I chose, since that one was getting really long anyway, and this is kind of a separate step, I wanted to split them up and do it a different way. So, as I think I'd mentioned, I had put a veneer on the back cap of wood, which should be a good thing. My original plan was to glue the back cap onto the body and then add the veneer to the back cap, but I didn't do it that way. I wasn't thinking again, and I glued the veneer on the back cap, hoping to get away with it. Typically when you glue veneer to thin panels, you would glue a veneer on both sides of the panel, top and bottom, front and back. I didn't do that. The reason you want to do that is so your panel doesn't do this, doesn't cup. And this has to do with basically moisture being able to jump on this side and expand the fibers, and this side's a little more sealed basically, and so this side expands and makes the panel cup. So now I'm going to attempt to save this panel because it does look nice. Nice wood. What I'm going to do is I'm going to glue a veneer on the back side. I should have done it when I was doing this side, but here we are. I hope it all works. Hopefully it'll flatten out and be nice. If not, I'm going to be building a new back cap. So let's get this project started.
We're going to show you the whole veneer process, starting with prepping the fumed eucalyptus veneer for the back cap. There's a number of ways you can use to straighten up an edge for veneer book matching like this. This is just one really kind of hack process that I use on occasion. I typically cut it with a really sharp blade first, since I don't have a veneer saw. But on this particular batch of wood, even though I had softened the wood, it's still splintered a little bit, so I had to finish it off with a little bit of sanding to get a good book match. And to glue the new veneer to the back cap wood, I use Thomann cold press veneer glue. It is, I guess, formulated for doing veneer pressing, and it doesn't seem to seep or wick through the veneer like regular Thomann does. It was at this point I should have added a veneer to both sides of the back panel rather than just the one side to avoid that nasty potato chip cupping. There are a number of ways to veneer a flat panel like this. In the past, I've typically just sandwiched the veneered pieces I'm working on between two large chunks of like MDF or good flat thick plywood and used some clamps. But in this case, I'm using my vacuum press, which is a repurposed old air compressor that I found at the curb, and using it to create a vacuum in a vacuum bag. The tape I'm using here is a water-based adhesive. You just get it wet to apply it, and when you're done with it, you re-wet it again to peel it off. And it works reasonably well. It hasn't always come off in one piece like I'd like it to, but in general it comes off pretty well and leaves very little adhesive behind.
Since I only veneered the one side, I made a Pringles potato chip out of it. So now I have to attempt to fix this. Hopefully I can. The longer it's drying out, the harder it's getting, and it's pretty strong. So anyway, I ordered another veneer. I didn't have scrap veneer for the backside. It doesn't need to be as fancy as this. So I ordered some veneer a nice plain maple veneer for this side, just so it looked good, because I'll probably have an F-hole, at least one, maybe two, maybe none, I don't know. But I wanted, if you can see into the body, I wanted you to be able to see some nice wood. And honestly, this was going to be good enough. Let's start the next project.
Here I'm checking the edge of the pieces of maple veneer and just using a good sharp single edge razor blade to cut my mating surface. And for this piece of wood, it was plenty good. And I'm also using an adhesive back veneer tape. This is similar to masking tape, but it's way tougher. And it is not supposed to leave adhesive behind, although it does. Just as I was getting ready to start the glue up, I had a wild idea and thought that maybe if I added some water to the original veneer just to help expand that fiber a little bit and soften it up, it might help the new veneer I'm putting on to have a positive effect on getting rid of that cup. Don't know if it really made any difference though. And with the new veneer centered to the body, I added just a little bit of tape to hold everything in place while I got the bag ready and put the back panel in to run the press again.
Well, the new panel, or the new veneer is put on what will be the inside of the back panel to help compensate for that bad arc or cupping that I was getting from only having veneered the one side of the back panel. Hopefully, when this is all done, it will eliminate the majority of that bad cup that I had going on. If it doesn't work, I may have to either build a whole new back cap, which, you know, go figure, it's on me if I do. Or I may be able to salvage the eucalyptus side of the veneered panel. I may be able to clamp it and thickness the whole panel down, basically removing what I just glued on, but thickness the whole thing down to like 1/8 of an inch or so to make it more pliable. And then I can apply a new veneer at that time to help make it stable. Hopefully we won't have to go that route, but you never know. It's good to have extra plans. Anyway, tomorrow we'll find out if this works. Well, we're back the next day. I did check the vacuum on the bag a couple of times. It was holding pretty well. It's down about 3 or 4 pounds, HG, whatever reading is. Not much. Anyway, it's still got a good vacuum on it overnight. So we're gonna open it up and see how it looks. Fingers crossed.
I should also mention that typically when you veneer a second side, you would probably change the orientation of the grain. Right now I have all the grain running in the same direction, but the back probably should be running across. It might help it keep from becoming a potato chip or twisting or warping again. Once again, attempting to remove that adhesive back veneer tape. It didn't lift the grain of the wood, but It sure did stick to it. I basically peeled the hide off my thumb trying to roll the adhesive off of the wood.
Well, the experiment of adding the veneer to the second side long after the first side had been done and cupped terribly, the experiment went well. The panel turned out nice and flat, which I'm happy with, and a train's going by. There's always a train. I'm glad I don't have to make a new panel, and I was able to salvage the nice veneer that's on here. This is the Fumed Eucalyptus. This is the back panel for the Harley Benton SC mod project. And this will be on the inside of the body, the back panel. So if I cut a F-hole or two in it, you'll be able to see a little bit of this grain. This is a plain maple. Has a little bit of figure, but not much. A little more adhesive left on here. I have to get off. But all in all, the experiment went well. Again, the panel flattened out nicely. It appears to be very stable. It's only been about 12 hours since I put it on. I'll probably put it back between the plates and just put some weight on it and leave it until I'm ready to work on it, which would probably be a while. Anyway, this went well. Thank goodness we were able to save it. I appreciate you watching the video. Thanks for tuning in, for going through the episodes with me, and hopefully we've all learned something from this. Veneer both sides. Leave a comment, click the bell, hit the like button, subscribe. Did I say that already? Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next episode.